everyone, welcome to another Christ Central Daily Devotional. My name is Barry and I'm missing spending time with you all. And it's been said many times before that we are living in unprecedented times, and who would have thought at the start of the year that we'd be in a situation that we're currently in with restricted movement and not being able to move around as freely as we were normally able to. One thing that we know for certain is that what we're going through and what we're living in now did not take God by surprise, and he's not alarmed or worried about where we are or what's coming next. Something that I've realized about this time is that people are saying all sorts of things and everyone has one perspective or another. Everyone's trying to understand and process the situation and understand the times and the seasons that we're living in. Everyone's talking, everyone's sharing their views. I get hundreds of WhatsApp messages daily. Most of them I delete or ignore, if I'm honest. And I'm sure the same is true for you, those of you that are on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or other social media channels. We are inundated with information, news and fake news, and separating what's true and what's false can be challenging. And it reminds me of the account in the Bible when King David was on the run, when he was hiding from King Saul, and a number of Israelite groups, clans aligned themselves to King David. And one particular group who aligned themselves with King David were called the sons of Issachar. And it speaks about them in 1 Chronicles chapter 12 verse 32, and it says, the sons of Issachar who had understanding of the times to know what Israel ought to do. And the Bible doesn't say much about Issachar, especially when we compare him to other tribes such as Levi and Judah. What we do know about him is that he was the fourth son of Jacob, born to his wife Leah. We know that several of the judges came from the tribe of Issachar. And we know that around about the time these words were written in the book of Chronicles, that their tribe had grown to around about 87,000 fighting men. What we do know is that the sons of Issachar so distinguished themselves in their conduct and the way they acted and behaved that they were labelled as having understanding of the times and knowing what to do in those times. What a label, what a moniker to be assigned to you or to your group or to your tribe. And they must have been doing something right. In this time and situation that we're in, people are saying all sorts of things to try and process these times and situations. I'm in a number of WhatsApp groups, and I know that the amount of information that I receive is just basically quadrupled during this time. Everyone's got an insight or a perspective or some analysis. And from my analysis of all these messages that I'm receiving, I believe that around about 10% are good and helpful. Around about 60% are benign, they're funny, amusing or neutral. And about 30% are what I would describe as not being helpful or destructive or harmful conspiracy theories. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. Some saying that COVID-19 doesn't exist. Some saying it was made in a lab. There's even theories out there saying that drinking cow urine can help you overcome COVID-19. No, I definitely wouldn't recommend that. I know that around about the time Jesus was on earth, there was a lot of conspiracy theories. Some people were saying that he was a military specialist who was going to overthrow the Roman Empire and the enemies of Israel. Some people who were saying he was a carpenter, just a carpenter, and we know his parents, and he was just a normal guy. But there were a lot of different theories and perspectives around that time. And actually his true nature and purpose were defined and documented well before he arrived on earth. I believe that we all have someone in our circle of friends or family who's into conspiracy theory. And if you don't have someone that's into the conspiracy theories, maybe that person's you. But let us remember that good information, revelation and insight comes primarily from reading our Bibles, from prayer and speaking with godly people. Let us consider what the information that we consume, and let us consider the information that we forward to others around us. Make sure that what we're sending is helpful beneficial and it edifies. I work in computing, and there's a particular phrase in computing and software development which says garbage in equals garbage out. If you write a software program and you put bad data into your program, you're going to get bad results out. Let us remember that the good sources of information that we should be going to, which should be our primary source of information, is the Word of God, and prayer, and also speaking with godly people. If you know a particular person that's in your circle of friends who's prone to sending messages that are not helpful, consider how you respond and consider if you are going to read them. Some messages that come through from certain people I just don't read, or I just don't have much time to read them. The other thing it said about the sons of Issachar is it said that they had understanding of the times and seasons, and they knew what to do. And every time and season has a response, it has an action, it has a behavior for those times. In Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it says there's a time for every activity under heaven. In Proverbs 25, verse 11, it says, a word aptly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. So if you speak the right thing, the right words at the right time, it can just have a great benefit. And if you do the right things in the right season, it's extremely beneficial. And the question that we should all have is, what should I be doing during this time and this season? Is it studying? Is it praying? Is it spending time with my family? Is it reading? Is it exercise? What can I do? Spending copious amounts of time consuming lots of messages and news and so on may not be the best thing. It actually may feed fear inside of you. During this time, you may need to change some things. You may need to temporarily change your vision or the things that you're doing. You may need to adapt and adjust. My family started off with some very high expectations about what we were going to do in terms of homeschooling the children, and we found that it's very hard work. We have a greater appreciation for teachers out there and a greater respect for them. But we're adjusting as we go along, as we go through this time and this season. Let us all pray and find out what God would have us do in this time and this season. Just in summary and in closing, now is the time for us to hear God for ourselves and to hear what God is saying to us as individuals. Let's look for information and revelation in the right places. Let's use our time wisely. Let's be like the men of Issachar who had understanding of the times and seasons and knew what Israel ought to do. That's all for now. See you on the other side. We'll get through this. Take care and God bless. Bye.